Guys, did the weatherman say cloudy with a chance of apocalypse?
Welcome to Cartoon Investigation. Are cartoons just fun animations, or do they hide dark secrets beneath their colorful surface? Today, we uncover one of the most terrifying legends hidden in the Amazing World of Gumball, the story of Gargaroth the Devourer, an ancient cosmic entity sealed away in the dice of fate. Gargaroth threatens to consume all of reality if unleashed. Join us as we dive deep into the forbidden lore, decode hidden messages, and reveal the horrifying truth behind Elmore's darkest nightmare. Let's begin the investigation. Chapter 1. Birth of an Ancient Horror. Gargaroth the Devourer, also known simply as the Devourer, existed long before the events of the Amazing World of Gumball. According to ancient myths and forbidden scriptures, he emerged from the endless void when the universe was still forming. He was the embodiment of destruction and chaos, a being created from pure hunger. His body, covered in demonic patterns that shifted and pulsed like living runes, served as an eternal testament to his sinister nature. It is said that before the first stars ignited and before time itself had meaning, Gargaroth wandered the void, searching for sustenance. But unlike creatures of flesh, he did not feed on food. He consumed existence itself. He was an entity whose very essence was entropy, an unstoppable force that devoured realities, leaving behind only emptiness. Entire civilizations perished in his wake, their histories erased as if they had never been. Ancient texts describe a dimension known as the darkness beyond the veil, a plane where time was meaningless, and space coiled in upon itself in impossible geometries. This was Gargaroth's home, a realm of endless hunger. However, his insatiable appetite did not go unnoticed. The guardians of light, celestial beings sworn to preserve balance, confronted him in a cosmic battle that shook the very foundations of existence. Their war raged across dimensions, tearing through galaxies and consuming entire worlds in its wake. But even the Guardians, mighty as they were, could not destroy him. Instead, they used their combined power to seal him away. His essence was trapped within an ancient artifact, the Dice of Fate, an object imbued with unimaginable power. The dice were cast into the depths of time, hidden away so that no mortal hands would ever release the beast again. Chapter 2. The Curse of the Dice. For millennia, the Dice of Fate remained lost, passing through the hands of secretive sorcerers and forgotten civilizations. Some sought to harness its power, while others feared the horror it contained. Ultimately, it was misplaced, buried under the sands of time, waiting for an unsuspecting fool to stumble upon it. That fool was Richard Watterson. During a routine garage sale, Richard, known for his insatiable appetite for junk, discovered the Dice of Fate among a pile of discarded artifacts. Its ancient, intricate carvings caught his attention, not because he recognized its significance, but simply because it looked kind of cool. Without a second thought, he purchased it for 50 cents and took it home, unaware that he held, within his hands, the prison of an ancient god. It wasn't long before his children, Gumball, Darwin, and Aeneas, found the dice. Curious as ever, they began playing with it, rolling it carelessly in their living room. But this was no ordinary game. With each roll, reality itself began to warp. Time twisted unpredictably, objects flickered in and out of existence, and strange voices whispered from the shadows. A simple game of dice had turned into something far more sinister. Aeneas, the most intelligent of the trio, quickly realized that the numbers they rolled were affecting the world around them. A 6 made the walls shift and breathe like living things. A 2 caused their reflections in the mirror to move independently. And when Darwin rolled a 12, the sky outside turned an unnatural shade of crimson, as if reality itself was bleeding. Panic set in, but it was too late. The final roll of the dice shattered the ancient seal, sending a shockwave through the house. A dark void tore open in the center of their living room, and from it emerged a presence unlike anything they had ever seen. Gargaroth was awake. Chapter 3. Invasion of Elmore. As Gargaroth clawed his way back into existence, the entire town of Elmore felt the tremors of his return. The sky darkened, and an unnatural silence fell over the streets. The air grew thick with an eerie pressure, as if the universe itself was holding its breath in terror. His form was nightmarish, towering over buildings, his gaping maw lined with endless rows of teeth, his hollow eyes burning with an insatiable hunger. His very presence distorted reality, causing objects to stretch and melt, as though the fabric of the world was unraveling around him. Shadows detached from their sources and moved of their own accord. Streetlights flickered with spectral energy. And then, the hunger began. Elmore's residents found themselves afflicted with an unbearable, gnawing emptiness. No matter how much they ate, they could not feel full. Their bodies grew weaker, as if something was draining them from the inside. This was Gargaroth's power. He did not simply eat flesh. He devoured the essence of existence itself. Realizing the severity of their mistake, Gumball, Darwin, and Anais raced against time to stop him. They scoured Elmore's ancient library, seeking any knowledge that could help them seal the beast once more. After hours of frantic searching, Anais found the answer in a tattered, dust-covered tome. The only way to imprison Gargaroth again was to trick him into a wager he could not win. Chapter 4. The Final Game. Gumball, ever the trickster, hatched a desperate plan. He approached Gargaroth and proposed a challenge. If the Devourer won, he could remain in this world and consume as much as he pleased. But if he lost, he would be sealed away once more. Gargaroth, an ancient being forged in the crucible of fate and gambling, could not resist. His ego, as vast as his hunger, demanded that he prove his superiority. The challenge was set. A single roll of the dice of fate would decide the outcome. The die was cast. But what Gargaroth did not know was that Gumball had rigged the game. Using a sleight of hand trick he had learned from a magician on TV, Gumball manipulated the roll. As the die tumbled across the ground, time seemed to slow. Every eye in the universe watched as it landed. A cursed number. The only number that could seal Gargaroth away. A horrific scream echoed through Elmore as Gargaroth was pulled back into the void. His form twisted and writhed as he was sucked into the depths of nothingness, his furious howls shaking the very fabric of reality. And then, silence. Gargaroth was gone. Chapter 5. Legacy of Terror. Though the town of Elmore returned to normal, something lingered. The hunger that had afflicted its residents faded, but in its place remained an unease, a whisper in the back of their minds. Shadows seemed to stretch just a little too far. The sky sometimes flickered with unnatural hues, and in the Watterson household, in the darkest corners of the basement, there were nights when one could hear distant, guttural growls. The dice of fate was hidden away, buried beneath layers of secrecy. But legends have a way of enduring, passed down from one generation to the next. And should fate ever deem it so, one day, someone will roll the dice again, and the Devourer will return.